108 years ago today, President Woodrow Wilson signed the Standard Time Act, splitting America into 5 different time zones and creating daylight saving time. And yes, it is daylight saving, not daylight savings, which was news to me as well. Anyways, in high school, I vaguely remember learning that daylight saving was created for farmers. But apparently, this isn't true, and in fact, they were against it. Rather than a clock, farmers work based off the sun, and having to adjust the time throws everything off schedule. For example, cows are creatures of habit, and daylight saving can be very confusing for them. So then, why did we create daylight saving? War, obviously. It was World War I, and the US was throwing everything into the war effort. Wilson believed that by having people wake up earlier, they would spend less time inside, therefore consume less electricity. Even so, daylight saving wouldn't last very long, as America's many farmers were so upset that it pushed Congress to repeal that section of the law after just 1 year. However, despite daylight saving being an initial failure, I still think it's important because it shows a paradigm shift in the American conscience. Up to this point, farmers were actually viewed as a symbol of progress, as they helped tame the American wilderness. Additionally, despite the American Civil War ending in 1865, and with it slavery, American farms still tripled between the years of 1860 and 1890. But something big happened in 1913 that changed everything. Henry Ford invented the assembly line. People saw the success of Ford's production lines and thought they should be included in farming. This completely changed the dynamic of American farming, as new technologies were brought in that forced farmers to become intrinsically linked to capital. In the 1920s, farms began to increasingly industrialize, but they also began increasingly filing for bankruptcy, leading to a complete farming crisis. So what does any of this have to do with daylight saving? Capital. Farmers didn't want daylight saving, but business owners did, as department stores noticed that it brought in more after-work foot traffic. In 1920, large cities like New York began establishing their own daylight saving policies. Essentially, daylight saving marked the time when Americans stopped viewing their future through rural development and began to focus more on urban, capital-rich environments. And that's your history today.